Welcome to Module 5. This module is titled Buyer Leads Attraction Systems, and this is where I show you how to flood your listings with pre-qualified buyers that are ready to close. In this module, you'll discover how to get hundreds of buyers to call you each and every month, even if you don't have any listings. I'll show you how to convert buyer leads into signed contracts and close deals. I'll show you how to easily and quickly manage all of your buyers' leads without letting deals slip through the cracks. And I'll show you how to organize your leads in a way so that you can focus on the hottest leads today, but nurture the rest of your leads until they're ready to buy. Many agents have moved away from working with buyers because it takes up so much time and effort. That's true. However, have you ever sold a house without there being a buyer involved? Of course not. So you need to make sure that you have systems and processes in place to efficiently generate, convert, and service buyer leads. More importantly, you need to be able to generate qualified buyer leads on demand for every listing that you have right now. However, if working with buyers is just not your thing, at least set up the lead generation systems and get referral fees where appropriate. In order to consistently generate buyer leads, you have to first understand what buyers want. They want low fees. They want responsiveness when they call or email with questions. They want convenience in their purchase. They want access to listings. So you have to weave all of those goals into your lead generation efforts, conversations, and presentations with buyers. And here's the facts. When it comes to systemizing and automating the process of buyer lead generation, the two most powerful sources are internet leads and listing generated leads. Yes, you will get referrals. Yes, you'll get people who will randomly contact you. Yes, friends, family, old coworkers, people at the gym, church, etc. will reach out to you to help them. But the two most consistent sources of leads are internet leads and listing generated leads. Okay, because you still need a consistent, predictable, automated system that attracts buyers to your listings. And without buyer lead generation systems that you control, you're at the mercy of lead sellers, your broker, market forces, or anything else. Generating buyer leads is a numbers game because you're going to get a ton of people who are early in their process of looking. But once you get your lead generation systems up and running, you're going to quickly notice that you're going to get a ton of leads. The real money is made in the follow-up and conversion process. So while you're going to know how to generate a consistent flow of leads, you must also have a conversion system in place. And let's talk about internet leads for a moment. One of the reasons companies that sell internet leads have a bad reputation is mostly due to the fact that internet leads are usually 6 to 12 months or more away from buying a home when they apply online. Unlike yard sign calls, where the person is usually actively driving around and looking for a home to buy in a neighborhood they like. Therefore, it's not uncommon to only convert 1 to 2% of internet leads into buyers within 90 days or less. The important thing to know is what you're paying per lead and what you're paying per closing. And in fact, it's normal in many markets to end up investing about 7 to 10% of gross commissions per closing that you're generating. Regardless of the source of the lead, every buyer lead that comes across your desk is important. However, some leads are ready to buy within 30 to 60 days, some within 90 to 120 days, and others are months or years out. That's why it's important to know how quickly each buyer lead is looking to purchase so that you know how to proceed with serving that client. One of the most effective ways to do this is by ranking your buyer leads according to their ideal time of purchase. It doesn't mean that we don't work the leads, the other leads that is, but it does mean that we work the hottest leads differently. Generally speaking, there are 3 types of buyer leads that you're going to generate. There are the A buyers. These buyers are ready to buy a home immediately. They're the B-level buyers. These buyers will be ready to buy in 60 to 90 days. And there are C-level buyers. These buyers will be ready in 90 plus days. Keep in mind that we're not judging them as people. We are simply organizing them to more effectively serve each client. The key to knowing what category to place the lead in is based on the information that you collect from them. A buyers. They're people that are looking to purchase within 0 to 60 days or less. And so you need to make frequent contact with A buyers. The goal is 3 to 4 times a week that you'll be calling, meeting, or doing showings with them. Also, you should always have a scheduled appointment with the buyer to look at homes at the end of each showing. But keep in mind that it is up to you to create this consistent and urgent communication. Don't leave the communication up to the client because it's your responsibility to successfully guide the buyer through the process. The B-level buyers. These are buyer leads who are ready to purchase a home in 60 to 90 days. Regular communication with these buyer leads is still very important because in the next 30 to 90 days, they will potentially be A buyers. You should have some form of communication with B buyers every 2 weeks so that you establish a good habit of meeting with them. You should also call regularly so you stay in touch, review general information with them, and also ask and answer questions. It's okay to show them potential properties once a month, as one of the homes might trigger a buying response. And then there are the C buyers. These are the buyers that are 90 plus days away from buying, so they are not your primary focus. Your goal is to communicate with them on a monthly and automated basis while giving them a call once every 3 months to see if things have changed. It's definitely okay to sign them up for automated searches using your CRM or MLS service. It's also important to find out why they are C-level buyers so that you know if you can increase their urgency. Always keep in mind that an A buyer today was a C buyer 6 months ago, so always work these leads. While grading your buyer leads is a smart and effective way to serve dozens of clients, you will still have to trust your intuition. Sometimes all it takes is the right property to get a C buyer to an A plus buyer. So you can't just work the hot leads and ignore the B and C level leads. Take some time each week to focus on all your leads in a real and meaningful way. After all, you're paying money to generate those leads, so don't allow any to fall through the cracks. The purpose of grading your leads is not just so you can simply put a label on the lead. The main purpose of using grades is so that you can quickly determine how you're going to treat each lead. And once you determine the lead's quality and grade it, the secondary goal is to move each lead to the next best grade. When it comes to moving buyers from one grade to the next, you're not simply at the mercy of the buyers. There are 5 ways to move buyers along in the process that you should know about. Buyer motivator number 1, the buyer presentation. In your buyer's presentation, you should walk the buyer through an overview of the entire process and timeline for each step. Then in the upcoming days or weeks, as you complete each step, you can gently remind them of the next step coming up as promised when you first spoke to them. Buyer motivator number 2, mortgage approval. Every mortgage approval has an expiration date, so you can coordinate your timeline with the mortgage approval expiration. Number 3, market forces. Prices and inventory change daily, so simply reminding your buyers of this fact can be enough to spur them into action sometimes. Buyer motivator number 4, asking the right questions. When you know the motivation for a buyer, you can ask questions that prompt them to seriously consider taking action based on their motivation. Number 5, problem solving. Sometimes buyers need help in solving the problems that are stopping them from buying. Therefore, moving forward is an issue of just solving their problem. So now let's talk about the 11 ways to generate hundreds of buyers' leads each month on autopilot. Strategy number 1, yard marketing. Without a doubt, buyer leads generated from yard signs are the cream of the crop of buyer leads. These are the hottest leads because they're actively looking for a home to buy now and are driving around calling signs. However, you need to have 4 types of yard signs in order to maximize the leads you get from your listings. Number 1, you need to have a 1-800 automated info sign. 2, an everyday open house sign. 3, required brokerage sign. And 4, a sold sign. The reason for the 3 types of signs, the first 3 besides the sold, is because you'll want a way to capture all types of buyers. You want to capture those who just want information and those who really want to get in the house and make some type of decision quickly. The next strategy, number 2, is the listings, personal or agency related. This strategy goes hand in hand with the yard sign marketing strategy because you can consistently advertise your listings and generate buyers. It's important to know that the better you market your listings, the more buyers you'll attract. If you're just starting out or don't have any current listings, then you need to ask other agents at your agency if you could do some extra advertising on their listings. Some agents will allow you to advertise their listings, but some won't, and will even be outraged that you'd ask. Ignore them and move on. Strategy number 3, Facebook ads. Most real estate agents already know the power of marketing on Facebook, but most don't use it as it's not a simple platform to master. However, there's no denying the power of Facebook when it comes to attracting hundreds of buyers' leads by getting your listings or offers in front of your target market. So while I won't give you a comprehensive tutorial on Facebook right now, I will give you the big picture view of successful strategies now that will generate leads on autopilot for you using Facebook. And with the strategies I share with you, you'll be able to quickly set up several ad campaigns that generates buyers on demand. So here's your Facebook ad strategy. First things first, in order to systemize your buyer lead flow from Facebook, you must use Facebook ads. The good part about using Facebook ads is that you can get started with as little as $5 per day on each campaign. However, before you can get started with Facebook ads, you need to have a fan page for your real estate business. Yes, this is in addition to your personal Facebook page, but thankfully it's really simple and all you have to do is follow some basic steps. I've included several resources in the members area that will direct you to step-by-step tutorials on using Facebook. The power of using Facebook ads is that you can limit your ads to only show to the people that are in your target market. In order to do this, you must create Facebook interests that allow you to show your ads to only people that are in your geographic target market. They're renters, they're likely to move, and they have high income. This will allow your ad to show up in their newsfeed and on the right-hand side of their newsfeed. You should also promote your free guides, your educational videos, listings, or anything else that you could think that buyers will find valuable. In order to run Facebook ads, you'll need to have a fan page for your real estate business. But you want to make it an informative resource about the community and areas you serve if possible. This strategy is specifically so effective because it allows you to cover a wide range of issues that local people are interested in addition to real estate. Then once every week or so, you can post a promotion for an offer that's focused on buyers or even sellers. Keep in mind that the things that attract buyers in other places are the same things that will attract buyers on Facebook. Strategy number 4 is using Craigslist. Craigslist has traditionally been one of the biggest sources of buyer leads for the majority of agents. However, with recent changes to posting on Craigslist, many agents have gone away from it, but it still works. The key to generating tons of buyer leads from Craigslist is this. Post a full-length description of your listings, post at least 15 to 30 pictures of every listing that you use on Craigslist, use a headline that captures the imagination of the reader, and if you do those things on a daily basis, Craigslist can be one of the best sources for buyer leads. Strategy number 5, Google AdWords. If you've ever went to google.com and searched for something, then you've seen Google AdWords. Now you might be thinking, why would you need to use Google AdWords if you're already using Facebook ads? Well, Facebook advertising is more interruption-based marketing, meaning people are on Facebook to connect with friends, to watch videos, to do things that are just entertaining for them. However, Google AdWords is search-based, meaning that people go on Google and they put in phrases when they're looking for specific information. That means that renters or potential buyers are typing in phrases in Google that are related to looking for a house to buy, while on Facebook, people are just talking to friends and using that time for entertainment. So here's the Google AdWords blueprint that you need to follow, because there are 3 main components to a successful AdWords campaign. 1, you need to target keywords that buyers type in. These are keywords like foreclosures in your town, homes for sale in your town, or buy a house in certain towns. And you need to use ad copy that compels them to click your ad. These are the words that you use in your ad that persuade people to click on the ads. And then you need to have a landing page where a buyer enters their contact information. This is the page on your website where people will land after clicking your links. Strategy number 6 is YouTube video ads. The power of this strategy is that you create short 2 to 3 minute videos to advertise your listings, free reports and guides, and your home search resources. Then you pay to have those videos either show up in search results when people search on YouTube, or you have the videos play to people in your target market. As YouTube is owned by Google, you will use your AdWords dashboard to pick the keywords, channels, or even exact videos you want your videos to play on. Be sure to include a call to action at the very beginning and end of each video that directs people to your landing page. Number 7, apartment complex renter farming. This strategy focuses on mailing monthly or quarterly postcards to renters who live in high-end apartment complexes. The best part about this strategy is that you don't even need to buy names and addresses. You can simply use the Everydoor direct mail program through the United States Postal Service and mail a postcard for about 16 to 17 cents per postcard. Using this program means you can reach hundreds and thousands of renters each month for less than a few $100s. Once again, your postcards or flyers should focus on the things that appeal to people who are thinking about buying a home. Strategy number 8, real estate publications. Every real estate agent uses local real estate publications to list properties. That's nothing new. However, you should also be using these publications to promote your buyer offerings too. That means your home buyer guides, your down payment assistance programs, your free house hunting services, etc. The good news is that you don't necessarily have to have listings to run your ads in these publications. As long as you're a licensed real estate agent and your offers are true and helpful, you should be fine to run them as well. Number 9, local community websites and publications. Local websites and publications are another source that is often overlooked when it comes to generating buyer leads specifically. Basically, the strategy boils down to taking your home buyer offer resources and advertising them in any local publication. The reason why this works well is because these publications are usually hyper-targeted to neighborhoods and specific areas. The key to getting leads from these resources is using big display ads that make an appealing offer. Because if you try to go the cheap route and only buy the smallest ad, then this strategy will not work well for you. As you start to get a consistent influx of buyer leads, you'll find that it's hard to track them. That's why you need to have a tracking mechanism in place. It's not that complicated, but it does take daily effort to keep your tracking system updated. If you have a CRM that you know you will own for the rest of your life, then track them in there. However, it's also a good idea to keep your top 20 most likely to buy soon qualified buyer leads in front of you at all times. There are several pieces of information you need to track about all of your leads. You need to know their name, the date the lead was generated, the date range for buying, signed loyalty agreements, their pre-approval letter, price range, the homes that they viewed, their ratings for them, their grade, the date of the next showing, lead sources, and additional notes. Any additional information that you could add there would be well. The whole point to tracking all of your buyer leads you're generating is so that you can follow up with them. While some agents will call once or twice and think that's it, you must do more. A good rule of thumb is 6 to 12 months with a mix of emails, postcards, phone calls, and automated house hunting services. However, you should definitely prioritize A-grade buyer leads over C-grade buyer prospects. If not, you'll find yourself burnt out and running out of money and enthusiasm working with people who never buy. You'll find that after a while, it's easy to generate all the buyer leads you want. The real work is in converting those emails, text messages, and calls into face-to-face appointments with qualified applicants. Without the ability to convert leads into closed deals, you'll quickly get tired of spending money generating those leads. Or worse, you'll be dead broke or close to broke and will leave the real estate business altogether. That's why you need to master working with buyers, as every transaction has two sides, the buyer and the seller. Now let's be honest, it's hard to see the value in focusing on buyers who are months away from closing deals when you need a deal right now. Especially when you realize that for every 100 buyer leads you get, maybe 3 to 5 will close within 90 to 100 days. So yes, it's true that sellers have the strongest incentive to close soonest. That's why most top real estate agents eventually focus on listings only. However, the key is to have a system that does attract ready to buy leads and use your systems to convert those into closed deals. You have to approach the buyer side of your business from the perspective that a buyer doesn't really want you. They want their ideal home at the lowest possible price in the neighborhood of their choosing. The first part of that is making sure they understand that working with you is no upfront cost or obligation on their part. Secondly, you have to load up your buyer services with buyer incentives that resonate with buyers. And then ultimately, you must make sure that you leave the lasting impression on your buyer leads that it's all about them getting what they want. The number one tool that will directly increase the number of buyer appointments that you set is your buyer incentives. Examples include buyer VIP programs, free list of homes, home buying tax credits, down payment assistance programs, seller down payment assistance programs, seller paid closing costs, seller paid home warranty, free published list of foreclosures, free published list of vacant homes, special access to the MLS, home insurance warranty, and these are just some of the ideas of things that you can use as your buyer incentives. When you get the incoming calls from your buyer lead strategies, it's critically important that you source the lead. You have to source the lead so that you know the best talking points that will spark their interest. The important point is to ask your questions so that they seem natural. You're basically trying to get to the answers to these questions here. How quickly are you looking to buy? What areas, neighborhoods, what geographic areas are you focusing on? How much can you afford? Are you pre-qualified for a mortgage? And are you already working with an agent? And what type of house or property you're looking for? There's always been a big debate about whether to meet the buyer lead at your office or at the property. Most successful real estate agents meet at their office for the initial appointment to verify mortgage pre-qualification and get buyer loyalty agreements signed before showing a house. It's not a good practice to spend all day working with people who are not qualified and maybe working with other agents. Meeting them at your office allows you to streamline your process and not waste time and money. So 99% of the time, that should be your goal. When it comes right down to it, you don't want to spend much time with a person who says they're a buyer but won't commit to you or get pre-qualified. Yes, there are agents who claim to never have buyers sign loyalty or exclusivity agreements, but you don't want to be like them. Plus, there will come a point where you won't even meet with the prospective buyer unless they've already been pre-qualified by a lender. And when that time comes, once you followed up with them by phone, your next goal is to get them pre-qualified and then in to meet with you. So in this module, we talked about how to get hundreds of buyers to call you each month, even if you don't have any listings. I showed you how to convert buyer leads into signed contracts and close deals, and how to easily and quickly manage all of your buyer leads without letting deals slip through the cracks. And I showed you how to organize your leads so that you can focus on the hottest leads today, but nurture the rest of your leads until they're ready to buy.